Hello friends and welcome. Patch 7.33D just came out, so we got a video for it. But to be honest, it's mostly small balances. Some of the strongest heroes nerfed, some of the weakest heroes, some of them mildly buffed, and several just ignored. So I don't know. I guess there's some tournaments going on and the major about to start, so they didn't want to go too crazy. But I don't really expect the meta to change. So in terms of what you're trying to do as support, a lot of it's probably going to be the same. Try to win your lane, get active, all that stuff. Still the same, but which heroes are going to be involved in that part might change. Now, something that might affect the meta is this item change right here. So the Eternal Shroud, I'm just kidding, guys. It is getting buffed, so maybe we'll see it a little bit more. But this Vanguard and this Octarine core have been a big part of the current meta, where a lot of popular offlaners are melee heroes who grab this Vanguard and become really difficult to kill. Vanguard even got nerfed, and it was still in its current extremely popular state. It got nerfed again a bit. Is this enough? I'm not sure. It started at 64 damage block, if you guys remember that. Against melee heroes, which is quite a lot. So 14 down since then, but the buildup is still good. Ring of Health and the Vitality Booster, you can get this pretty quickly for 1,700 gold. Now, you used to be able to disassemble the Vanguard, which you still can, but if you wanted the Octarine core, you could get a Vanguard into that Octarine core, and that made the Octarine core a lot cheaper, a lot easier to build quickly because the Vitality Booster was used in the Soul Booster, and the Ring of Health was used in the Perseverance. Octarine core is now made out of 2 Void Stones instead of a Perseverance, so you could still disassemble the Vanguard and get the Health Booster to put into the Soul Booster, but the Ring of Health will not be able to go into the Octarine, so that will slow down the Octarine timings if different heroes want them. It also means that you may now have just a Ring of Health. Can you put it into anything else? Maybe this newly buffed Eternal Shroud. So maybe we'll see some more spellcaster-oriented heroes rising up, because Octarine Core is now going to provide a lot of mana regen rather than health regen. So that could be really good for the reduced cooldowns. And this Eternal Shroud also converts damage into mana. So Leshrac back after just a couple months off the main roster, maybe like Bristleback. I'm not fully sure, but yeah, I kind of think we'll still see a lot of Vanguard, but maybe we'll move away from like Vanguard into straight Octarine into something else. Maybe people will come up with new ways to disassemble it into different things, or maybe it'll still be the exact same but just nerfed a little bit. I'm not sure. But I do bring this up, and we were talking a little bit about it just because a lot of the heroes that kind of defined the offlane were these Vanguard builders. And so if Vanguard reaches a point where it stops being the preferred item, the Vanguard makes offlaners really tanky, and it's okay to leave them alone because, yeah, he's probably not going to die. He's got a Vanguard, which means if they stop building Vanguard and they start going for other items, they now become more susceptible to being killed early, which means as supports, we might be stuck in the offlane a little bit more. Now, we kind of played there a lot anyways, right? But there was a lot of freedom to move between the different side lanes, maybe help the mid if you needed to. Jupiter, I'm trying to record what you doing there, buddy. So if people stop building the Vanguard, you may be required to stay in the lane a little bit longer rather than get to pick and choose whether you're roaming or stay in the lane as much. For the hero changes, I'll try not to read every single one, but just give you the rundown. Abaddon, kind of sizable nerfs, I think. 25 attack speed off of his, just base attack speed is a lot as a whole. Gloves of Haste, along with a mana increase on Aphotic Shield, 10 mana per level, and then 10 damage off of his 15 talent. So I feel like this hurts core Abaddon quite a lot. Support Abaddon is more about the shield, which, yeah, it's a little more expensive, but if you get like a Pavise or a Solar Crest, you're probably fine in terms of mana regen to get by. The attack speed will hurt your trading a little bit, but if you really like support Abaddon, I feel like it could still be okay. There's probably better, like, I think Oracle's still going to be better than Abaddon, for example, even though I know they're like different heroes, but in terms of a save hero, I'd go Oracle. But if you really like it, it's probably okay, but core Abaddon's probably not going to see much play after this. Arc Warden nerfed. He's a pub menace, but you don't really see him in pro gameplay, so I don't know, but I'm kind of okay seeing him get nerfed. So, Bat Rider, I don't know if you'll play him as a support anymore. This Flame Break was a level 1 value point, and it repositioned people, it did damage, and it slowed them for 25%, and that was a pretty powerful slow that you would just keep at a level 1 point. But now it's only a 10% slow, and that's a pretty big difference. So I don't know if this is going to be good enough for support Bat Rider anymore. Core Bat Riders may be okay, but the sticky napalm damage decrease does seem like a lot, especially as you add up sticky napalms. So I'm not fully sure, but I'll let the Bat Rider experts play it out, and we'll find out. Beastmaster, I wish could have been nerfed a little harder. He's probably still going to be okay. Bloodseeker, I'm kind of surprised didn't get nerfed more. 30 damage off of his Blood Right is kind of, a decent chunk for a spell that he uses to secure the range creeps, and Bloodseeker is a hero who wants to have a good start to the game, but I heard a lot of people talk about Bloodseeker as like one of the strongest carries in the game, so the fact that only his early game's getting nerfed by a bit on Blood Right, and then like it even ends up at the same point, 240 by the max level, kind of surprising to me. Bounty Hunter players, I think you'll still be okay. The stun got nerfed by 0.2 seconds at every level, and that is a shame, but you still have the core element of it, which is the invis stun, and I think that's going to be fine. So I think if you like Bounty Hunter, you'll still be good to go. Broodmother, probably not enough of a buff, or she's been kind of out of it. Clinks, sad for our bony man here. Overall nerfs, mana cost, like 5 more mana. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a spell he uses a ton, and I have noticed Clinks having like mana issues when I play him a lot, so that will definitely add up. Death Pact is going to be a lot easier to kill. The skeletons, they go from 3 attacks down to 2, so the early game skeletons going to be a lot easier to deal with. Technically late game skeletons as well, but I think the early game is where it's more of a problem when people didn't have a lot of attack speed. So 3 attacks took a while to kill these skeletons. In the late game, people had more faster attack speed, so they could kind of deal with these skeletons a little bit easier anyways, and now even easier. The bonus movement speed I don't think is a massive issue, so overall, I think Clinks is still playable, but something that might actually be a buff to Clinks is the Vanguard nerf. And Vanguard and the Crimson Guard took away a lot of the Clinks' damage, especially as a support. All the attacks from the skeletons and yourself were getting nerfed by those items. And so if those items actually drop off, that might actually be good for Clinks, because now you'll be able to do damage. Crystal Maiden and Disruptor were both good supports, maybe not like the very, very best, but pretty good. Both getting hit with nerfs here that are going to hurt their early games, I'd say. I think they'll be playable. They'll be like average-ish to good. So yeah, if you still like them, I'd say that's fine. Doom, they're finally changing Devour to be a lot less gold at max levels, which has really been the issue, not the early gold. So down from, it used to be 200 gold, it's now going to be 160. So over the course of the game, especially when you factor in that Octarine change as well, this will be a lot less gold for Doom. Maybe he'll still end up with the same build minus Octarine, but it's going to take longer to get that to that point, and it's going to be less of a payoff once you get there. Is that enough to fully kill the hero? I don't know, because technically if the game goes on long enough, bonus gold is still bonus gold to get you to a powerful late game hero with a ton of items. But this does seem like a lot, and I'm kind of hoping it is, because Doom's been in the meta for a while. Enigma did get a buff, but honestly, I don't think anyone's really playing off of level 1 Malefice. Eidolons are kind of fundamental to the hero, and those are still bad, so yeah. Elsie got a series of nerfs. She was pretty strong. I think she'll still be fine, just a bit worse. Leshrac has been pretty down in the dumps, but he's getting buffs across the board on all his abilities, and I don't know if it'll be in the meta, but Eternal Shroud and Octarine both seem like items that, might be quite nice for a Leshrac. So all of that combined might help him out quite a lot. Lich, small nerf here. If you like Lich, you'll still be okay. Lina, I don't think we'll be seeing Lina support based off these changes. I don't even know if we'll see Lina core, but maybe. Lion's been bad for so long, and he keeps getting these tiny buffs. I think it's because Aghanims, the Aghanims build is really popular in pubs, and if you make the hero too strong, then that build is going to be way too good. But pretty much all high-level Lion players don't go for that build, so they're stuck with a shit build, and then they never get like the fun part. They just they just have a bad hero that slowly gets buffed. And I still think this is not enough. I still think other supports are going to be better than Lion. Mag was hugely popular in this current meta, so six agility off. It's going to hurt his early game, and then the Empower self bonus down from 75 to 50%. This is a very big nerf. I think he'll still be okay in general, honestly. But this is a huge deal because this was very powerful on him being a universal hero. He was getting tons of base damage from his items. So maybe that will add up. But I think off-lane Magnus is probably still fine. And maybe mid Magnus. But carry Magnus, I think, is probably dead with this change. Marcy? I don't know. There's some Marcy hater at Valve, maybe. I don't think she was really that good. I mean, she started to see some play as a core, but there were still better cores than her. So I don't know. She got nerfed along with other universal heroes. I don't know. Medusa, I think she's still fine, actually. There are some nerfs here, right? Getting a little less mana back from Mystic Snake. And then the Illusions, which originally they didn't have Mana Shield, and then she was a garbage hero. The Illusions got Mana Shield. She became much better, along with some other changes to her. And now they're getting a toned-down Mana Shield. So we're slowly bringing her down. I'll have to see this in action, what this illusion change actually like really translates to, how that feels. The illusions were very strong with Mana Shield, so maybe now they're just like regular illusions, and she'll be just like a regular hero as well, but I think she's still on the good side. Mirana got nerfed a bit, but she should still be okay if you like her. Nature's Prophet buffs, he's the worst win rate hero in the game right now. I don't know if this is enough to like bring him all the way up into the meta, but it's definitely going to help push him that way. Cooldown being lower on Nature's, I mean, this is kind of a nice chunk, but I don't know if that's really the issue with the hero. Nyx should still be okay. Bonus flare damage going to be a little worse. We might see less of the Dagon builds on support Nyx, maybe more of the usual Nyx builds, but if you like Nyx, he'll still be okay to play. Pango, more nerfs. He keeps getting nerfed, but he's still really popular because his kit's just really good, and then he became a universal hero, so that kind of like, you know, countered all the nerfs he'd been getting. So now even more nerfs. Some PL nerfs. He still felt a little strong, so, you know, toning him down a bit more. Primal Beast, slight buff. I don't know how much this really adds up to be, but it's nice for the hero, I guess. Pugna, this might hurt a lot. The ally drain heal, that's a big part of support Pugna, and that's going to be worse now. Maybe still fine, but I mean 40 off of the ability as a whole down to 120, so it's like a 25% nerf. I mean, that's kind of a lot. Some Queen of Pain nerfs, you'll still see her. Razor, 3 seconds on Static Link might be good enough to start bringing him back in. He really hasn't been played a lot since some of his builds got changed, so maybe 3 seconds is a good amount. We'll see. Silencer, if you like playing Silencer, he'll still be okay. Spear Breaker nerfs, but also in my opinion still okay. Techies still okay, right? They are all nerfs, but he was, if you saw my recent videos, I think he's like the strongest support. So I think all of these are fair, and if people are building less Vanguards, your poke damage is a little better in the laning stage, though that's not really his like only feature as Techies, so you don't care as much as Clinks does if Vanguard drops off or not. Timbersaw nerfed barely. Tiny, I don't think this is really going to bring him back into the support meta. Tusk, if you like him, sure, but I don't know. I guess it's going to add up. Maybe you'll see some cool like level 1 5-man snowball plays, but I don't really think this will change that much. Veno, if you like Veno, this is totally fine in my opinion. It's 50 damage off the ult, which admittedly will affect some early game kills, but for the most part, 50 is not going to like break the hero. I think he still looks really strong as a support. Void Spirit does need all these nerfs. He's way too good. So just nerfs on his stats, on his mana cost. I think all of this is good because this hero is way too powerful. Same with Wind Ranger. So she's got nerfs kind of across the board for her core abilities. So that will technically hurt support Wind Ranger as well. But support Wind Ranger right now is not nearly as popular as core Wind Ranger. Winter Wyvern, some nerfs there too. She'd been seeing some play as a universal hero. Fun stuff. She was a core hero, so some small nerfs, but it doesn't look like anything too crazy, so she's probably still playable. Zeus, like whatever. Vengeful Spirit, ignored. I don't know. When are we going to get to play Venge? Never, apparently. So that's it. Let me know if you think I missed anything, underestimating, overestimating. I feel like the meta will still be mostly the same, but just maybe instead of all these universal stat heroes with Vanguards and all that, maybe we'll be moving more into like some spellcasters. But even if we do that, I still think it's going to be about strong lanes, getting active early, and like starting to secure all these different objectives across the map. So we'll see, and I'll post an update video as things go, of course. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video.